Hey everyone, and welcome back to our podcast with Father Reuben. We hope you have heard episode 1 of this podcast. If you haven't, then you can do so by clicking the link to episode 1 in the description box below. So, Father Reuben, we spoke about why ashes are imposed on our foreheads and about the 40 days of Lent. We hear this word fasting. What exactly are we called to fast from during this period of Lent?
Traditionally, the fast was from things that you basically would be eating every day. I remember someone asked me this question some time ago. What do people who regularly eat vegetables fast from? Or what do people who eat fish every day fast from? The abstaining and the fasting. There's a difference between the two. That I abstain from something that I'm regularly doing and enjoying doing. I'm fasting from, say, a food. And why do I fast? Because, see, when you fast, there is that hunger, the pangs of hunger. You feel, weak at times. So that feeling of weakness and that hunger should actually remind you of your dependence on a God who supplies or gives you these things. And also at the same time that there are people around you in your world who are not enjoying a meal like you. So can you therefore fast and set aside that money you may have spent on that food and use it for, different types of charity. So while we talk about fasting, from the traditional point of view, there is also another angle. One should fast from anger and feast on patience. Fast from complaining and to feast on acceptance. Even fasting from idle talk. We need to be very careful about gossip. Gossip can destroy community. To fast from lies and to feast on truth. To fast from resentment and to feast on the mercy of God. So can we therefore use the opportunity of this season to feast on the joys or the powers of reconciliation? So the traditional way and what we would say now the contemporary way of fasting and feasting during this season.
Another thing that you mentioned was the age limits for fasting.
Yeah. The church must have had various reasons. One of the things that little children, can they really keep up with the practice of the fast? Then those who are older generally have medical problems, or maybe they cannot keep up with the practice of fasting. So it is given to them just as a guideline. But I think if the enthusiasm is there to fast and to abstain, I don't think there can be ever a restriction or a limit. Recently, I heard of a parent telling me that their young child has decided to live on vegetables during the season of Lent, because vegetables are very difficult for him to consume. But he has decided that, and whatever is paid from the meats that he would have, that he says the money can be given to the orphanage, which I found is a nice thought that comes from a child. Yeah. But I also know of elders over 70 who are keeping up with the practice because they feel refreshed doing something like that. But there's also, as they say, sometimes it shouldn't be cosmetic, because people then, use the 40 days to fast because they want to have, as we would call, the makeover. So while we would say Lent is a good time for a makeover, but the makeover has to be spiritual.
So we've spoken about fasting and abstinence. What is it that the church actually suggests that we do during this period of Lent?
The church says that there are 3 pillars of Lent. One is prayer, then of course fasting, and almsgiving. Why prayer? Because prayer is something important to all of us, because we communicate with God in our prayer. And the prayer is more a conversation, it's more a strengthening experience that we have. And during these days, there are many opportunities even given by the church to enhance your prayer life. The practice of the Stations of the Cross, prayer services, there are missions. You can make out the increase in the number of people who come, because they look at that time as very, very special to enhance their quality time with the Lord in prayer. The other is almsgiving. Now, once again, almsgiving as a practice, because whatever you want to abstain from or fast from, you set that aside. It's like your sacrifice, and then you decide to give it away for a charity. Many parishes have had creative ways of dealing with this almsgiving. I remember in certain parishes, they actually give like a piggy bank to the children, and it's mentioned there as your Lenten alms. They collect for the 40 days and they bring it to the church, and all that money is collected and given out in alms. I remember one parish had this beautiful thought saying, Your change can change your world. There was this huge urn that was kept in front of the altar, and people came and dropped in only change, coins, and a huge amount was collected only through change, and that was then given to charity.
When you spoke about almsgiving, originally it was totally a financial thing, giving of money.
Over the years, we've had quite a lot of reorientation towards these practices. There are also different ways of looking at almsgiving where you use your resources and you give off your time. I know of certain youth, for example, who have set aside their time in Lent to reach out to the differently abled people in their parish community. So some of them are reaching out. I had this beautiful example of people who were helping the senior citizens send emails to their children because they weren't able to really deal with these computers and smartphones. Once again, I think we look at this also as a very creative and practical way of almsgiving, not just finance, but also using the resources that you have, and you're giving those resources away for the good of the community. And also it strengthens you, by the way, because when you reach out to people, you also understand their pain, their suffering. That also helps you go through your own moment of understanding how you are blessed. Can you therefore share your blessing and make them feel as blessed as well? For me, Lent has been a special occasion because when, as a youngster, I happened to see on the board of our church, these days are lent to you to be paid back with interest. And I quite like the play of words, and I believe that when we start focusing on a celebratory note, that Lent is a time to celebrate, I'm sure that each one of you will also have a very spiritful season of Lent to celebrate Easter in God's full glory.
Thank you everyone for listening. If you like this podcast, please hit the like button. Feel free to comment in the comment box below. Also, subscribe to our channel to be notified about upcoming podcasts.